Yeah, thank you for calling. Appreciate it.
How's it going these days, Joe?
It's going really well, actually. It's a lot of work, but I'm used to a whole lot of work. But other than that, everything's turning out really well. So all of the different projects or whatever, really, really great. I couldn't be happier.
You just played Iraq a while back with Phil Susan and all them?
Yeah, Big Noise played Iraq in September.
Yeah.
Amazing experience.
How's that coming to Iraq and playing for the troops and all that stuff? Very good.
I got to tell you, bro, it was just beyond words. We learned so much. First of all, we learned on what's really going on there, politically and whatnot. And we also just learned we learned how great our troops are, and the Allied troops, actually. So, I can't just say the U.S. troops, but the Allied troops. They're just amazing bunch of guys and gals, I got to say. They have camaraderie and fellowship, integrity, mission, purpose, all these things, respect. I say that the rest of the world can learn something from these kind of guys. Really. Amazing. They are just dedicated, and they don't bitch about anything, and they just go and do it, and there's nothing about it, man. And we learned, yes, sir, this is the way it goes. You know what I mean? Very respectful people.
You're playing in a band called Over the Rainbow also now.
Yeah.
How's that came about?
Well, to be honest, it was actually my idea because the promoters, everywhere I played, the promoters were always asking me, will there be a Rainbow reunion? We could really do good business with Rainbow, and I was like, well, you know what? No, there's not going to be. Richie's never going to do this again. I said, he's happy doing what he's doing, and leave him alone. That's it. So they said, well, wow, you can get the other members of Rainbow together. And I said, yeah, but we need a real guitarist, it's just not authentic. There's only one Blackmore. And when I said that, I said, no, there's not. There's another Blackmore that plays guitar, and that would be his son. And it hit me right then and there. It hit me like a light went on, and I went, what if I could get Jürgen Blackmore to play guitar? If I could get Jürgen Blackmore to play guitar, I have now authenticity, genuine. I have the real article. I have the real deal. It's his son. It's blood. Then I can get people from different eras of Rainbow in the band, and that would make it even more authentic. And I said, this is a good idea. So I came back to the States, and I called up a few people, and I just put the seed of the idea, and obviously I called up Jürgen and said, I'm coming to Germany, and I want to meet with you, and we sat down, and we had dinner, and we talked about it. And he was very, very excited about the idea. So with that, once I knew he was in place, then I could start making calls for the other guys. And, of course, I wanted to pick guys that don't have any bad habits like drinking or drugs. Right. I don't care if you do a little bit of everything, but just don't have an addiction. No addictions, please. Right. We don't need any of that bullshit. And that's how it really happened.
Any future release, official release?
Well, the only reason why we would release something, I think we will do a live album because we're going to be doing live shows.
For sure.
So it's very easy to do a live album. We just set up the computers and what have you. The technology is not too difficult. But as far as an original album, we want to do one, but we don't know if we will have the offer from a record company to do it. So the way I look at this is that we have to take first steps and see if the people like us, which I don't think they shouldn't like us. I think they would love this project because it's the only place you're really going to hear all the forms of Rainbow. All four incarnations of Rainbow will be represented musically and hopefully even on stage. So what I'm saying is that, yes, we want to do original material, but before you do an original album, you have to have a fan base.
Right.
And although Rainbow has a very large fan base, we don't know if Over the Rainbow will. So we'll have to take it step by step, and when we play our different markets, we'll know what's really happening once I think we have an offer for Russia to do an album for Russia, but then we need to get the rights to release it in the rest of the world too. So it's kind of difficult.
Can you guys use the Rainbow logo also?
No, we will not use that logo. We have a brand new logo, Over the Rainbow logo, and it won't be the typical Rainbow, and it won't be the typical lettering or anything like that. We want to separate ourselves from Rainbow, but we want to make everyone know, yes, we are the family. Mm-hmm. We are family. So this is the family of Rainbow, and this is the only place that you're going to hear these songs now, because Ronnie's not going to do them, and Richie's not going to do them, and Graham only really does his stuff.
Right.
But I'll be doing 4 songs by Graham. Yeah, I'll be doing Lost in Hollywood, Eyes of the World, Since You've Been Gone, and also I think we would also do All Night Long.
And you're going to be doing some Ronnie James Dio era?
Oh, absolutely. You got to do Long Live Rock and Roll. You got to do Man on Silver Mountain. You know, I would think you should do, let's see, maybe Catch the Rainbow. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, we'll have a bunch of Ronnie stuff. And we'll even represent Doogie. You know, we'll do 2 songs from that. We'll do Wolf to the Moon, and we'll probably end up doing Ariel.
That's going to be very great.
Yeah, they're great.
Very good representation of a Rainbow there.
And not only that, we're going to do, of course, my era of Rainbow, which was probably, a very popular era. So we're going to probably do about 6 or 8 songs of that. So, and we'll also do stuff like Mistreated, not just Stone Cold or Street of Dreams, but we'll do, some odd stuff too. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Going
back to Rainbow years, how did you get into joining Rainbow?
Well, I had just finished with we got dropped from our record label, Fandango. I was in the band Fandango, and then everything came falling down, really. And I was living alone in a one-room apartment in New York City on the east side, Lower East Side, and I was looking for work and I'm looking for a gig, and I got a phone call one day, and I couldn't believe it. It was eventually Richie Blackmore got on the phone and said, I want to audition you for this new record, and so on and so forth. And I took a train to Long Island. I was in Manhattan, so I went to Long Island, and I went to the studio. They picked me up. I shook hands. I went right into the recording on the mic, and I started to sing the songs. And then they asked me, can you write songs? I said, well, yeah. And they said, well, make up something. And I make up something, and they like that. And the next thing I know, I'm doing the background vocals to I Surrender, and the rest is history. So it was it was just like Rockstar movie or something, It was just like, local kid makes good,
That's cool.
Local boy does good, I just got very lucky, I suppose.
And that was your big break in the scene.
Yeah, that was my break, yeah.
And then how did you join Yngwie Malmsteen in his peak career?
Well, Malmsteen's peak hadn't really come yet until I think I got in the band. I think they were trying to make him peak. Polygram, again, the record company came to me and said, look, we want to make a super group around this guitarist. And I said, who is he? And he said, Yngwie Malmsteen. I said, uh-oh. I said, isn't that guy supposed to be very difficult? And he said, yeah, he's very difficult. And I said, isn't he very egotistical? And they went, yeah, he's that too. And I went, I don't know if I want to do this. They said, look, here's a whole lot of money. And I went, okay, I'll do it. But first I said, I have to meet the guy. I said, so I went out to Los Angeles from New York, and I sat with Yngwie for about 3 or 4 days. And we partied, and we talked, and we did everything together. We ate dinner, we did everything together. And we ended up kind of like, okay, I could deal with you. He said the same to me, and I said the same to him. I could put up with you. And he said, yeah, I could put up with you too. I don't like you all the way, but I like you enough. And I said, yeah, me too. I like you enough. So it was a very strange meeting, but he said, yeah, let's do it. So then I flew back to California. I went home to New York, picked up some clothes, and then flew back to California. But that's when he got in the accident, and I basically had to be the guy who was in charge of the hospitals and everything, because the other guys didn't know what they were doing. And it was unfortunate, really, because we had tracks already written and everything. And I was there writing songs all the while I was taking care of Yngwie in the hospital. But it was very disappointing because we had to put it off for about 3 or 4 months. And then he finally got better, and thank God. And then we started to record the albums, yeah. And in my opinion, Odyssey is a really great album, and we really did some very good work together. And I think that it's a shame because, I think it was a great moment for both of us, really.
So you've been taking care of Yngwie Malmsteen in the hospital?
Yeah, like I was the guy that all the doctors and nurses talked to about payment, about situation, about what to do, what not to do. I was the boss there. There was no one there for him.
Really?
No mother, no father, nothing.
And does he thank you for this today?
No, he never thanked.
Never thank you?
No, he was, I think, too embarrassed, really.
Really?
Yngwie is a very strange guy, and very strange guy. And I, in the beginning, I would sort of be angry with this because he never really acknowledged or gave me any word to say, you really helped me get through this. He just, like everything else back then, he took it for granted. And then he would, once we separated after the tours and everything, he didn't want to do another album. And that's his loss because he, in my opinion, he was now at least on the map, because before this, the people who knew of him were not as many. He was more of an underground fusion guitarist, and he became quite popular after that. And in my opinion, he's never created another record like Odyssey, ever. Never. Nothing sounded like Deja Vu. Nothing sounded like Ride in the... Nothing. And I'm here to tell you, I think it was a big loss and a big mistake of his. But his ego is so big, he cannot control... He lost, his ego. It prevented him from being thankful. It prevented him from being honest, because later on, after that, I would hear, Lynn Turner never wrote these songs, it was me. And bullshit. All you have to do is listen to any of those songs, and it's me. Mm-hmm. It's so identifiable, it's pathetic. So I don't appreciate that bullshit from him. But you know what? I forgive, and I let it go. I don't forget, but I forgive it.
Going to Deep Purple era, when you played in Deep Purple, did you ever autograph any Deep Purple merchandise featuring Ian Gillan or David Coverdale?
Absolutely. Sure, why not? You're in the family, It's kind of like a family member. I would usually say, well, I'm not on this record. I only did one record, and they would say, I don't care. We want you on this record anyway. And that's the fans who taught me it was family. Mm-hmm. Once you're in the band, you're part of the family.
Any funny Deep Purple stories?
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of stories.
Yeah.
I got stories from the old days. I got stories from the new day. I got all kinds of stories. Yeah, I hear the truth. Yeah, sure. But, I don't really dig up the dirt too much, because I'm not interested in dirt. I'm more interested in creativity and positive vibes. I don't want to hear the bullshit. Everybody makes a mistake and everybody fucks up. I'm not gonna carry this forward. I mean, I tell the story about how I got out of the band because there was a lot of bullshit going on when I was leaving. It was unfair and very disrespectful. Yeah, I tell that story because that's my story. But I don't tell much of the other stories that I wasn't, that I hear and that I see. Yeah, I got stories. But, egotistical people and people who think they're better than somebody else, this is pretty typical for people like that. I never was, in my family, brought up like this. My father, God rest his soul, always taught me that you're just a man and you're just trying to work hard, and that's it. You don't have any special... You have a gift from God. That's all. It's God. It's not you. And I believe that. I always believe that. I am just the instrument for him to speak through. And the gift of voice or guitar or writing song, any of this stuff, is not me. It's really from higher power. So I don't take myself seriously. And Blackmore also helped me learn this. When I did have a problem at one point with the rock star shit, Blackmore said, look, man, you got to remember who you are. And he goes, I said, but Richie, you're so difficult and you're this. He goes, I know. He says, and I know who I am. He says, and sometimes I do this for certain reasons, to separate myself from the press and from the fans, and to hide. And then I said, you're separating because you're hiding. So it's crazy. You got to be you got to be just a regular guy. You got to this other bullshit, this rock star bullshit's for the birds. It's not real. It's not real. You can't believe your own press. You understand?
Right.
My father told me, if I may say this, he told me some guys like the smell of their own ass. And I think that's very funny, because that's so true. Some people just think they're so cool, And I never, like Malmsteen, I don't understand why he has to be so arrogant, why he has to be so difficult, why he has to be so egotistical. I played with him in Russia for the Prime Minister, and he opened for me because I'm much more popular in Russia. But I told him, I said, and then on the encore, I invited Yngwie up to play with the band, and we had a great jam session. And we played almost an hour or more of Odyssey and Hendrix. And I told him, I said, you ever want to make a great record again, man? Call me, you know. I don't hold a grudge, man. I go, you know, that was a long time ago. It's in the past. I said, so give me a call, man. You know, but his wife was like, you don't need him. You don't need Joe and Turner. So, you know, influences. What are you going to do?
Yeah. How was a day off in the life of Joe Lynn Turner?
I don't have any days off, so I don't really know. The one day off I will have is for football. That's it. I take Sunday off for football games, and I mean both. I take Sunday for American football and also for my international TV, soccer games and all that kind of stuff, because I follow teams in Italy and England, Wolverhampton and all that, you know, Manchester and Brazil.
Wow, you're a big football follower.
Yeah, I'm a soccer fan and I'm a football fan, so I love that part of the sports. So I do take Sundays off, and I have my big TV, and I have my remote control, and I switch around to all the games, and I keep the scores, and I know what's going on. But other than that, I really don't have a day off, man. I mean, today I'm home, and I'm doing interviews for 5 hours. 5 hours of all interviews. It's all in one day. And then I have to take my dog to the veterinarians to get a checkup, you know, and then I have dinner. And then maybe I might watch some TV, but I really can't afford it because I have to come back up to the studio to learn songs for Over the Rainbow. And I also have to finish the new Sunstorm 2 album. So I'm in the studio on Friday singing for that. And there's not a lot of time off, no. Honestly, I got to tell you, People can't believe, you know, the career I've had, and they say, how do you do this? And I go, hard work. I just go, if you just keep working, if you just keep knocking on the door, somebody will open it. Somebody will open it. And after 10 solo albums and 10 years of projects and different things around this whole world, I'm finally getting recognized again for who I am, and I'm like going, thank God, you know, because thank God for my friends and fans, because I would never be in this position. It's a terrific feeling, and I thank them. You can't imagine how much I really feel in my heart for all these people that keep me alive like this. Because why would I do it if no one cared? You don't do it, you know. I would have to change profession or something. So I'm a very lucky guy. I'm very blessed, and I work very hard.
You're an inspiration, Joe Lynn Turner.
Well, I hope so, because I mean this, friend to friend. I mean this. If you're not, then what are you to anyone? You know, even you, everyone should be an inspiration, and everyone can be an inspiration in their own lives. No matter what you do, you can be an inspiration, and all you have to do is live the life of an inspired life, and people will look at you and say, yeah, okay, that's me. I want that. And I mean that. So I feel that I was given this when I was young by my heroes and my icons and idols, all in the music and sports and things like that. And I grow up to want to be like them, to want to give the message like them, that anyone, anywhere can do this with hard work, discipline, and belief. And you have to believe, and you have to want it really bad. So, you know what I mean? So, to me, thank you. I appreciate that compliment. I really do.
Right.
So, thank you. I appreciate all the things that you guys do for us, because as journalists, you guys keep guys like me alive, you know, and I want you to know that I know that. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you. Really.
I thank you, too. See ya, Joe.
God bless. Talk to you soon.